Brian Giles with Brian Giles MTG. And this is take 3 of the actual Unfinity card spoilers. My first video, I had some random ad go off on my computer, and I don't know what happened there. And it caused all sorts of stuff in the background, which I don't know where. I couldn't figure out where the ad was coming from. But we went to go do a second video, and then my mom decided to call, which shuts off the video. And I didn't realize it. I was trying to ignore her call and didn't realize I wasn't recording. It was like, oh, Smurf. So we're going to start again, and we're going to try to go through these, damn it. Okay, sorry, I was having a little bit of problems with my mouse wheel for a second. So this is Unfinity, and for those of you that do not understand unsets, an unset is Magic the Gathering's parody of itself. It's all about having fun, doing crazy, silly stuff during the game that stuff you normally wouldn't. It's like having one of those silly board games, that you do all sorts of silly, crazy stuff. But it's all within the context of a Magic the Gathering card set. And this set is based around a traveling space carnival. So there's lots of themes and tropes and memes and silliness based around carnivals and circus and stuff like that. So we're gonna start off. There were a number of cards that were released when the set was announced, and we're gonna start off with these cards. Now, in previous unsets, the cards usually had a silver border, which meant that you could not play them in tournament legal formats. But certain cards, and especially the lands, have become highly played and highly desirable in non-tournament formats. So what they have done with this set is that cards that are playable in normal Magic games that are tournament legal will have the regular holofoil stamp at the bottom of the card. Cards that are not tournament legal will have a silver acorn stamp. And the reason they chose acorn is because the unsets are the first sets that introduced squirrels. And squirrels actually became a thing, and they actually became an actual tribal thing. And they have a legendary squirrel, and they have a squirrel lord. So squirrels became a thing, and so the lands were very highly sought after to be able to play them because they have very unique and very beautiful artwork. And we'll start off with the five alien landscape lands, and all of them seem to have some sort of spherical theme to it. The artwork has spheres or parts of spheres in their artwork, and they're very, very beautiful and stuff. And then you have the 5 planetary lands, which are planets that are meant to represent the 5 different mana types. The plains is a planet with a very large ring system. which is actually something that's in real from real telescope images. Next up, the island is a watery planet with some very unusual atmospheric spikes in it. Next up is the swamp planet, which is very dark and full of craters. Then you have the mountain planet, which is a rocky, lava-filled planet that appears to be very close to its star. And you have the forest planet, which is a forested planet with a ring system. And then, after that, we have shocklands. And they included all 10 of the shocklands. Now, shocklands are fetchable lands, which means you can search for them with something like, anything that can search for basic land types. So first off, we have Hallowed Fountain, which is Plains Island. And these shocklands, they come into the battlefield tapped unless you pay 2 life, hence the term shockland, because shock is a red spell that deals 2 damage to any target. That's why they call them shocklands. So you have the Hallowed Fountain, which is Plains Island, a Watery Grave, which is Island Swamp, a Blood Crypt, which is a swamp mountain, Stomping Ground, which is a mountain forest, Temple Garden, which is a forest plains, Godless Shrine, which is a plains swamp, Steam Vents, which is an island mountain, Overgrown Tomb, which is a swamp forest, Sacred Foundry, which is a mountain plains, and Breeding Pool, which is a forest island. So, starting off with the cards that have already been revealed, we'll jump into it, and we got Assembled Ensemble. 1 white, 4 colors for an X6 artifact creature, Clown Robot Bard with Vigilance. Assembled Ensemble's power is equal to the number of robots you control. Whenever you cast a spell with an artifact creature in its art, create a 1/1 white clown robot artifact creature token. And I will preface that card art actually matters in this set. If you've seen my Mark Rosewater spoilers or the Morrow spoilers for this set, I will kind of explain that in a little bit. That card art does matter in this set. Next up is Killer Cosplay. 1 green mana for an artifact equipment. Whenever Killer Cosplay becomes attached to a creature, choose a creature card name with an identical mana cost. That creature becomes a copy of the card with chosen name until Killer Cosplay becomes unattached from it. Equipped for 3. Sounds like a fun card in regular deck, but it has the acorn symbol, so you can't do that. Unless your play group allows that. But it's not tournament legal. Next up is Saw in Half. 1 black, 2 colors for an instant that reads, destroy target creature. If that creature dies this way, its controller creates 2 tokens that are copies of that creature, except their base power is half that creature's power, and their base toughness is half that creature's toughness, round up each time. And you can play that in a normal Magic deck. Next up is the Space Family Goblinson, troping on the Swiss Family Robinson. 1 red, 1 green, 2 colors for a 1/1 Goblin Guest. Says the Space Family Goblinson has trample as long as you roll 3 or more dice this turn. Whenever you roll a die, put a +1/+1 counter on the Space Family Goblinson. So, it's rolling dice matters, and I'll explain when we get to that point. But you will be rolling some dice and so it's a legendary creature, and it's a goblin guest. Next up, we have Water Gun Balloon Game. 2 colorless mana for an artifact that reads, as Water Gun Balloon Game enters the battlefield, player puts a pop counter on 0. Or use the bullseye. Whenever a player casts a spell, move player's pop counter up 1. Whenever a player's pop counter hits 5, that player creates a 5/5 pink teddy bear creature token and resets all pop counters to 0. So this is an artifact cares about casting spells and casting them quickly. And you could once you get to 5, you create a creature token. Next up is what's referred to as Erza's Dark Cannonball, which is a sticker card. Now, this is something entirely new to Unsets and the game of Magic, even in general. They have stickers matter, and you have names, you have artwork, and you have abilities, and you have tickets. And you have power and toughness stickers. Now tickets matter because you pay certain tickets and you get certain stickers, or certain cards say get a sticker from a sticker card, and you will have a certain amount of sticker cards provided to you in a tournament format. So, Erza's Dark Cannonball. So you have your name stickers, which are at the top. You have your art stickers, which have 3. Then you have, on this one, you have 2 ability stickers, which are Exalted. It gets, whenever a creature you control attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each instance of Exalted among permanents you control. So it gets +2/+2 basically. And you have Shadow. Now Shadow was back in some of the earlier sets was a really powerful ability. This creatures of Shadow can block or be blocked only by creatures with Shadow. And then it has a couple of Exalted. You can buy for 2 tickets, and Shadow you can buy for 3 tickets. You have an ability, power and toughness stickers. 1/5 for 2 tickets, or 7/4 for 4 tickets. Next up, we have Angelic Harold. Now, Angelic Harold is 1 white, 1 blue, 1 colorless for a 2/2 legendary angel performer with flying. When Angelic Harold enters the battlefield, you may put a name sticker on a non-land permanent you own. Each creature you control with 3 or more words in its name gets +1/+1. So you can put a name sticker on a card to enhance it, and it gets bonuses, and that's why stickers are important. Next up is Carnival Carnivore. 1 black and 5 colorless for a 4/6 alien crab horror with death touch. When Carnival Carnivore enters the battlefield, you get a ticket. Then you may put a sticker on a non-land permanent you own. So this is kind of, again, playing into the whole, carnival silliness. Please excuse the yawning. Next up is Animate Object. 1 blue, 4 colorless for a sorcery that reads, you get 7 tickets. Choose an inanimate object you own from outside the game. Put a power and toughness sticker on it. You may also put a name sticker, an art sticker, and or an ability sticker on it. Put it onto the battlefield as a creature. So you can have any inanimate object and you can make it into a creature. So that's, that again, this is more Carnival Unfinity silliness. Next up, we have Magar of the Magic Strings. 1 black, 1 red, 1 colorless for a 3/3 legendary Minotaur performer with 1 black, 1 red, 1 colorless. Note the name of target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard and put it onto the battlefield face down. It's a 3/3 creature with whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may create a copy of the card with the noted name. You may cast a copy without paying its mana cost. If this creature would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. And this is a card you can play in regular standard Magic deck. So this is a very, very powerful card. 3 mana for a 3/3 legendary with a thing that can create a token that can allow, if it does combat damage, create a token creature of a instant or sorcery spell that can that when it deals combat damage to a player, you create a copy of the card and you cast it for free. So that's fun. So next up, we have Far Out. 1 white, 2 colorless for an enchantment that reads, rather than choose the indicated number of modes for spells and abilities you control, you may choose one or more modes. You can't choose any mode more than once. This is for your commands, your choose whatever spells. Next up, we have Wicker Picker. 3 colorless mana for an artifact creature, Scarecrow Guest. Creature spells creature spells you cast have Sticker Kicker for 1 colorless mana. You may pay an additional 1 colorless mana as you cast a creature spell. If you do, you get a ticket, then you may put a sticker on it. It's a 2/3 Scarecrow Guest. So, another card that uses stickers and tickets. So I'm going to end the video here. Those are the cards we're starting off with that were already spoiled. I'm going to start another video and we're going to keep going. So until the next silly Unfinity spoiler game, to Unsquirrel and beyond.